With random guys, welcome back to the Kundalini Yogini. It's Priscilla. I'm so happy to be back with you guys today, talking about a topic which I love and is my passion, as a lot of you guys might know, sustainability. And I was inspired to make this video for one specific reason, because I actually got requested by a few people to make this video after they saw this thing that I carry around with me, which I'll show you guys. Alright, I had to go get it, but out of my purse. So I have this little guy that I carry around on my keys, and what it actually is a portable, reusable straw. It's like a little lightsaber. I love this thing so much. I got it just a few weeks back, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. But it was an inspiration for me to make it because I started sharing about the use of single-use plastics and why they're actually so detrimental to our planet and why we should all care about it. Now, I know that at least where I grew up in my social media, when I was seeing the whole straw fad becoming a thing and everyone was up in arms about using plastic straws, and it's, you know, all these laws have been passed in the US and in the States for the last few months all about this topic. And so it's been a really hot topic and one which has got a lot of media attention. Now, I think there's good and bad things about this, but one of the bad sides of it is that it's really ignoring a lot of the bigger picture of the issue. The good news is that every little step does count, and it's great that we are bringing more awareness to the damage that plastic is causing. Now, the reason why straws became such a hot topic are because basically there's a perfect image that we could pull out and show, which was that sea turtles were getting straws stuck up their nose and they were dying from this. And so there was all these videos and pictures being passed around the internet of, you know, like rescue people extracting straws out of the turtle's nose. And I think that image was really powerful, and it told a powerful story of the impact of plastics, especially in regards to our oceans. So what are single-use plastics? For those of you that don't know, these are more than half of the plastic that we use worldwide is single-use plastic. What is single-use plastics? Basically, they are plastic bags, plastic water bottles, plastic food packaging, straws, and many other things which we just use once and then get tossed out. So literally, they have a single use, and these comprise over half of the world's plastics. The worst news is that only 10% of plastics worldwide actually get recycled. Not just single-use plastics, but all plastics. So the recycling argument, if you haven't heard, is honestly a bit of an old school one, because it's not happening. Just so you guys know, it's really not happening. And if it is, it's happening in a very small way, and a lot of what we're producing is still not getting recycled. It is not the solution. So we have to look at what the real solution really is. Now, one of the worst things about single-use plastics are that they are not biodegradable, which means that they don't get broken down in the natural environment. So what happens is that majority of them end up in the ocean. Because they get filtered, they don't just dissolve in landfills and things, so they'll actually end up in the ocean. And what this means is not only are they polluting the actual environment and the ecosystems there, but they're also getting inhaled by animals, specifically large ocean predators like whales, dolphins, and turtles, and they're getting poisoned and dying on a mass scale because of single-use plastics. The other thing to note is that what happens with single-use plastics over time is that they do break down. But they break down into microplastics. Because they don't completely dissolve, it's impossible, they do not completely break down. But they do break down into teeny little particles, what they call microplastics. And the really bad thing about microplastics is that they go directly and very often unseen into our food and water supply. So this is getting into both affecting animals and human beings as we intake them. The more plastic that we create, the more microplastics scientists are finding in our food and in our water. And these are directly linked to cancer and different genetic mutations and other really deadly diseases that are, more and more scientists are finding out about. So that's kind of what single-use plastics are in a nutshell, and I hope that was enough information for you to hear and to want to start making improvements into using less single-use plastics in your day-to-day life. So I'm just going to break it down for you and make it really easy with a few ways that you can actually stop using single-use plastics or start to, wean off of using single-use plastics so that you can help make a healthy environmental impact, in your day-to-day life instead of creating all of this unnecessary waste that is killing animals. So here's what you can do. One thing you can do is start using reusable products. Now this sounds simple, but it really is. All it takes is a little click and a few extra dollars spent to buy something like a final straw, to buy something like reusable grocery shopping bags, canvas bags for grocery shopping, buying produce bags that are reusable. You can actually buy these online also. And there's so many different reusable things that we can and should be using, especially if you're in a Western country. If you're privileged enough to have the access to these resources, you should be using them. There's really no excuse. It's so easy nowadays to have a reusable water bottle, a metal or glass water bottle, instead of buying cheap plastic bottles and filling it up where you go. Second thing you can do, it seems pretty straightforward, but it's something which sometimes gets overlooked, is buying as much raw foods as you can. What I mean by this is that majority of our plastic waste that we produce on a day-to-day basis is from our food packaging. And I've noticed this so much so in my own life in the last 2 months of being back in the US. It's like alarming to me the amount of waste that I started producing because I was actually living almost a zero waste lifestyle for the last 2 years in India. And I realized that actually most of this is coming from our food, if not all of it. And it's because we're buying pre-made meals, pre-cut vegetables, pre-cut fruits, pre-packaged everything. And it's so unnecessary, and majority of it is only for convenience. It's because there's just the tops are already cut off the carrots instead of just buying raw carrots. And it's just, all it takes is a few extra steps on our part, a few extra steps in our meal preparations. But when we start buying products raw, in bulk and filling up reusable containers and jars, this is a way we can drastically reduce the amount of plastic we create. I am personally on a journey myself to start to come to a more and more zero waste lifestyle, and I'm by far not perfect yet, but I am conscious of it and I'm moving that direction. So every time I'm going grocery shopping, I'm trying every time to buy less packaged foods and to buy more raw ingredients, fill up my bags full of rice and beans and chickpeas and vegetables and fruits instead of buying everything in individual containers, because it's honestly not necessary. On this note, the third thing you can do is start to cook your own food as much as possible. The more that you cook with raw ingredients, the less waste you're going to produce from eating out, from using the whatever disposable utensils or bags you might get from eating out, and also from buying prepackaged, pre-made meals. And also the huge benefit is that it's way healthier for you. And one of the last things you can do, it's last on the list because I definitely would suggest the others as more important steps, but to support, if you do buy something with packaging, support brands that have biodegradable packaging. And luckily, the natural products industry is blowing up. So we have so many options. I can at least speak for the US. If you're in a Western country, in the US or Canada, and most of Europe, it is very easy to get natural alternatives to things. So look out for brands that have biodegradable packaging so that if you are buying prepackaged things, you know that it's not going to end up in the ocean or in the belly of a whale. Okay, anyways, that was a mouthful, but thank you guys for listening if you made it through this video. I truly appreciate if you guys share, comment, and like this video, because this is a topic which is so near and dear to my heart, and I hope that more and more people just get educated about this stuff, because I know that people care. I know that all of us care. It usually is just out of ignorance that we don't do these things, right? There's such easy things that we can do to change our daily life to make less of a negative impact on the planet. So please do share this, guys, so that we can get the word out there, protect our oceans and animals in these really simple ways that are not at all inconvenient for us. So thank you again for tuning in. Nityanandam, guys. Catch you soon.